This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending the Central Management Services Virtual Job Fair event. I would like to introduce you to both Israel and Jody, who are on the line today. Israel and Jody will be telling you about their organization, job openings they currently have available, and how to go about applying for those openings. If you do have any questions for these folks, please feel free to enter them into the chat. Once we reach the Q&A portion of the event, of course, we'll have an opportunity to have your questions fielded and get responses for those as well. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce Jody and Israel. Folks, feel free to take it away.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Israel, along with Jody. We're both from the Department of Central Management Services, also known as CMS. Today, we're going to be discussing the hiring process for the state of Illinois. We've had a lot of changes. At CMS, we serve as the liaison for all of the state agencies, which accumulates to about 80 or so. We handle pretty much all of the operations ranging from fleet management, property management, all the benefits, media, and just making the public aware that we're out there as a resource. And we facilitate all of our services that we have to offer to both state employees, the public, and just render our services, most importantly with our career opportunities as well. With the state of Illinois, there are, as I stated, we have a wide range of agencies that are under the jurisdiction of the governor. We have, for instance, the Department of Human Services, in which has over 13,000 employees whom are hiring year-round. We have entry-level positions ranging all the way to specialized positions. We have clerical, health, law enforcement. So pretty much any individual from any background would fit in well with the state of Illinois. We do have the more specialized job opportunities for individuals, for example, who are doctors, lawyers. But as I stated, we also have clerical positions, entry-level positions, all over the state. Our biggest market is in Sangamon County, the Chicago area, Kankakee, and a lot of our bigger cities, you will have a lot more opportunities. Yet again, in our smaller counties, we still have a fairly large presence. So depending on what your interests are, what your goals are, we have the right job for you. There are many perks for working for the state of Illinois. There is career development. For individuals who become state employees, we offer several different programs, one of them being the Upward Mobility Program, which offers an incentive for an individual to promote from within. And this program gives preference to individuals who are enrolled in this program. The only thing that would be involved with promoting as a state employee would be to take an assessment test. Now, as soon as you complete your assessment test, we'll evaluate you and see if you if you pass the assessment test, you have the ability to promote, which basically eliminates many barriers that currently, for example, like the long wait, and you would be given preference. There's bilingual pay if you have a second language or took some courses and have some proficiency in a different language, you would receive a 5% increase. We have health benefits ranging from medical, dental, vision, and they do start on your first day of employment. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Israel. You can look at our current openings. You can go to our website. Whoops, I'm sorry, this was yours too, wasn't it?
Mhm. So just a brief to expand on the benefits for the state of Illinois. We had to use 2 slides because we offer a lot of perks. So with the state of Illinois, when you complete 10 years of service, you are eligible to qualify for pension. So obviously, the longer you're employed with the state of Illinois, the higher that amount would be. Aside from that, we offer vacation days, sick days, flexible work schedules, and paid time off. And these vacation days, sick days, actually accumulate or increase in increments to match up to your years of service. So as you gain more experience, more time with the state of Illinois, you will see your paid vacation days and sick days increase. So these are just some of the many perks that we have to offer. There are a lot more, like employee assistance programs and deferred compensation. Literally, we could have 3 or 4 more slides on all of the benefits that we have for working for the state of Illinois.
And one other benefit too is we also offer maternity and paternity leave too for new parents.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at our current openings that the state has. Our website is illinois.jobs2, the number 2, web.com. And if you go to our website, you can do a search by either by county, or if there's a certain location you're interested in working in, or by department, if there's any particular department you want to look in. To begin the application process, be sure, once you're on your website, be sure to read it thoroughly to decide or to make sure you know how to apply for the job. Some jobs require you to fill out what we call a CMS 100, which is an application form. And other jobs require you just to submit your resume and transcripts if needed. So how you apply for a job varies by what job you're actually applying for. When you submit your resume, sometimes it's asked that you email it. Sometimes they ask that you send it US mail. And again, on the website, it will tell you that. Once your application, whether it's your resume or your CMS 100 form, is submitted, it is then evaluated and you're given a grade. And if you submit the CMS 100 form, some of those positions require you to physically come to our office and take an exam. And some of them are more the resume applications is based on what we call TRAX, which is training and experience. So make sure your resume is very detailed, all the job requirements and the job description that you have, make sure you have that listed on your resume just so you can get the credit for that experience or the training that you have. And then once the evaluation process is finished, we then continue with the interview process. To complete the CMS 100 application, you would enter all of the, I don't know if you can see it on the slide, but there are some fields that's in a very light blue color. Those light blue fields need to be entered, and you can expedite the process. If you know you eventually want to apply for a job with the state, but haven't found a particular job yet, go ahead and fill out the CMS 100 form. That way, when you see a position that you're interested in, all you need to do is fill in the position name and what we call the bid ID. The bid ID is on every single job posting, and every job posting has a different bid ID. So make sure you have that on there. That way we know exactly what position it is that you're applying for. And then once you've identified the position, go ahead and enter the bid ID and the position name and submit the CMS 100 application. Again, look on the job announcement to see how they prefer you to send it to them. And let's see, details on how you submit it, whether it's via email or via online, will be mentioned in the job posting. Once it's evaluated, you will receive your grade. If you're taking a test in one of our satellite offices, the test score you will be given as soon as you finish the exam, within just a couple minutes, 5 minutes at the most. So you'll get your exam grade at that time. If you submit your resume and it's based on your training and experience, it depends on, how busy the offices are, the people that evaluate. It could be several weeks before you receive your exam, but you will be notified through US mail. That's how you'll get your evaluation grade. If you need to take a test, please be patient and wait until our office contacts you to schedule. It's a kind of a lengthy process. Once the job is posted, it is posted for a couple weeks, usually for a couple weeks. So we have to wait till after the closing date before the HR person in that particular department receives all the names of the applicants. They then go through all the application names, and then they notify our office where we work with the examining office. And we then reach out to you and contact you to schedule a date and time for you to come in and take our test. Our tests are scheduled by appointments only. We do not offer any walk-ins. It's by scheduled appointments only. We do have a successful disabilities coordinator. So if you do have a disabilities, please be sure that you reach out to our coordinator, and that person can work with you to get your exam scheduled. When you come to our office, you do need to present a current government issued ID or driver's license, just so we can verify your identity before you take the test. The allowed time that you're allowed, most titles are given 90 minutes. Other titles you're given 2 or sometimes 3 hours. And again, it just varies on what the title is. For the successful disability exams, extended time is given to you based on the accommodation that is needed. And again, when you physically come to our office, your grade notice is given the same day that you take the exam. For titles that are evaluated via TRAX, training and experience, you will not need to take an exam in our office, and your grade is based on your education, experience, and your training that you list on your resume. So again, make sure your resume is very thorough and you have everything listed on that. So again, we can give you the credit for your experience. TRAX grades will be sent to you through US mail. You do have the option, if you disagree with your TRAX grade, you do have the option to appeal your grade. And when you receive your TRAX grades through the US mail, there will be instructions on there how to appeal your grade. So make sure you read all that information when you get it in the mail. And below is a list of possible grades for the open competitive exams and for the successful disability exam. For the open competitive, we give grades A, B, C, or failing. And sometimes these exams have most of them are multiple choice, some of them are multiple choice and a typing, some of them are, I know the telecommunicators, they have where they have to wear the headphones and do an audio portion of the exam as well. So again, it depends on what type of position you're applying for, is depending on what exam that you're given. The successful disabilities, it's either pass or fail for that. CMS is in the process of phasing out our CMS 100 paper application, and it will soon be replaced by an online application process, which will hopefully expedite the entire process. Bargaining unit titles that go through the paper process will be piloted for the online process soon. So as you continue going to our website, just be aware that it will look different and be different in the near future.
So effective July 1st, we will transition onto an all electronic application process. This is geared to expediting our entire hiring process, because we are known, it has taken a few months for someone to onboard. So we're trying to steer away from this and expedite the process as a whole. Our goal would be ideally to onboard someone within 4 to 6 weeks. Between the assessment, interview, and the whole hiring process. The CMS 100 will be completely eliminated, so individuals will no longer have to worry about that. The application is very lengthy and repetitive, so as a team, we decided to eliminate the application. And now with the electronic process, you're going to have the ability to save your information, so it won't be as repetitive because all your information can be stored within our website. You can create a candidate profile, and by doing so, you just monitor our website because it is updated on a daily basis, and you can actually narrow the search by by your preferred counties. Unless you're willing to travel, then you can just navigate the entire all the jobs that we have to offer, and you will have to apply to each position that you are interested in. So it's not just one application for all. It's one application per job. So the first step in this process would be to create a candidate profile, and by doing so, you also have the ability of uploading your resume, and by doing so, uploading your resume can actually transfer your information to be filled out. Now, I would be cautious with this because transferring your information from the resume to our unpopulated fields, sometimes the information that transfers over is missing a word or two, or the dates could be a little weird. So if you decide to take that route, I would revise all the information. I would provide as much information as possible. All the experience you have, the more you have, the better the better it will be in the end, because we do grade based on training and experience a lot. We have drastically reduced testing. It's still available. It's still available, but our go-to now will be to grade individuals based on their training and experience. So again, this section will be very important to include all of your past experience, your entire work history, any certifications, diplomas that you might have. Individuals will have the opportunity of uploading all these documents, and again, you will have the opportunity of saving all this information. So whenever you see another position come up that you might be interested in or want to be considered for, the information will be there. So you won't have to change much of your information, unless you recently graduated or have new training that you can add to your resume. Again, so our new website is uploaded on a daily basis, and all of the agencies that are under the jurisdiction of the governor have the ability of posting their positions on there. So it's not just CMS. There will be many other agencies, DHS, which is the Department of Human Services, Healthcare and Family Services, and a wide range of state agencies do have the ability of posting on here. So if you're interested in a specific field, you can actually narrow your search to that. Again, if you just want to be open to a wide range, you don't have to narrow your search. We have many job opportunities for individuals to apply to.
Our office also provides career counseling to individuals. And if you're interested in having a career counseling session with one of us, please send an email to us. And in the email, we ask that you send us a completed CMS 100 application or your resume. And what we do, we look over that, and we try to, our goal is to give you at least 3 vacant jobs that you are qualified for. So when you send us an email, please be sure to give us some more information too. If there's a certain county that you want to live in, or if you're willing to relocate, or some people give us a certain salary that they want. So make sure you give us all of the requirements that you're looking for with a position. And then we'll do our best to give you at least 3 jobs that you are qualified for. The more specific you are, of course, the harder it might be for us to find jobs. So if we don't see any vacant ones, we will definitely give you other titles that you are definitely qualified for, that you can just keep your eyes open and look for any vacancies coming up. And let's see, CMS, we also provide, well, with the career counseling, most of the time, especially with COVID, it's been done through email. We do have some virtual career counselings too. So if you prefer that, again, just send us an email and then one of our offices will contact you and set up a date and time to have the Zoom meeting with you. CMS also provides professional consultation on issues concerning reasonable accommodations in the employment process. If you need accommodations to take an exam in one of our offices, please contact the CMS Disability Resource Center by email and provide them with more information, and they will work with you to get that arranged. We also have a Veterans Outreach Program that provides qualified veterans with points added to passing grades, and they may also receive appointment preference in addition to a higher score. If you are a veteran, please be sure to reach out to the Veterans Outreach Program as soon as possible, and preferably before you take an exam or apply for a job, just so that can already be noted in the system when your application is received. And again, this is our website right now for jobs, the work.illinois.gov. And at the top, or right underneath that, the link, the careers home, if you click on that, that will take you to all of our positions and all of our vacant positions. As Israel mentioned, we do add positions every day. Some days it might just be a few positions. Some days it could be 10 or 20 new positions added every day. So make sure you look at it every day to see what changes we have. And also pay attention, if you do see a test that or a position that you're interested in applying for, make sure you look at the deadline too, just to make sure you apply before the deadline and don't put it off too long. And that concludes our presentation, and we are available. If anybody has any questions, feel free to turn off your mic and ask us questions or type it in the chat, either one.
Well, thank you for that presentation, obviously, both Israel and Jody. Again, as Jody just stated, if you do have any questions, feel free to enter them into the chat, or even feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like and ask your question directly. In the meantime, while we wait for some questions to come in, I do have some standard questions I'd like to go ahead and ask either Jody or Israel, if that's okay with you too.
Yes, that's fine.
Excellent. Okay. So Jody, I know it's probably hard to kind of nail this down, because I'm sure it's probably contingent upon position by position, but can you kind of give folks an idea, what the hiring process is typically like and how long it can take for an average applicant to go from the point of, submitting the application or taking the test to actually kind of getting to the point where they might be extended an offer for hire and then kind of enter the onboarding process, maybe just a general average.
Yes, I'll share my own experience. I worked at the University of Illinois for many years, and then I just started working for the state last year. So my process, I applied for a job, I think it was in March. And then in early May, I received, it was a TRAX one, so it was just graded based on my experience in education. It was in early May when I received my grade. And then in July is when I was contacted for an interview. And then I had the interview and was offered the job in August. And again, this process can really vary by, once the applications are submitted, it's up to the HR person in that particular department to review them and send them on to our office if they need testing, need to physically come in our office for an exam. So it could really vary by the department too, how busy they are, how anxious they are to fill the position. If they're really busy, they might sit on it for a few days or a week before they have a chance to look at them. So it really varies. I know some other departments, they could be hired or interviewed fairly quickly, and mine was 5 months from the time I applied till the time I was offered the job. But not all departments are like that. They some are a lot quicker than that. Israel, do you have any insight or anything to add to that?
Yeah, so I could add some information. So, but I've been with the state for 7 years, and I know the state is known for kind of being on the slower side, honestly, which is why we're doing all of these changes, because there has been times where individuals will have an active grade and they wait for months and they don't get calls. But again, this is because we're currently in a transitioning phase, and our goal is to expedite the entire process. But ideally, we would be looking at 4 to 6 weeks between the whole hiring process, interviewing, and the job offer. That would be ideal. Now, will it happen right away? Who knows? As Jody mentioned, it will vary by agency.
Excellent information. Thank you for that, both Jody and Israel. And again, I just want to encourage folks, if you do have questions for the individuals at CMS, feel free to enter them into the chat or unmute yourself and ask. You obviously have a prime opportunity to ask these individuals any questions that you have. So feel free to do so. Don't be shy. In the meantime, while we are waiting, I still do have a few questions that I'd like to go ahead and ask you folks. So the next question that I do have in general, and I know you provided several emails for like additional resources or help for the application process, but in general, what would be the best way that you suggest folks go about trying to get questions answered if they have anything application related, testing related, so on and so forth?
So I would utilize the email that I provided in the chat, because individuals from all of the assessment centers, from Springfield, Champaign, Chicago, Marion, and Rockford, we all have access to this Dropbox. So we're very responsive now, whereas a couple months ago that mailbox was full, and now that we're all working on these projects and these new implementations, there is no backlog because we work on it on a daily basis. So I believe that would be the most effective way to contact one of us would be by email, and the one we check the most would be the one I provided, which is cms.counselingbyemail@illinois.gov. If you have any questions, whether it's about a specific job that you're interested in, or how to go about filling out your electronic application, that would be the best course of action, to just shoot us an email.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Israel. And I have hosted some webinars for CMS before, so there have been some good questions that have come in through those webinars. So one question that I'd like to pose for you folks that I think would be helpful for job seekers would be, how can a candidate stand out and get an interview, assuming they're qualified for the position which they're applying? More specifically, I know the state kind of application process in particular, when it comes to uploading a resume, outlining experience, things of that nature. I know the requirements and expectations can be pretty specific. Can you guys kind of elaborate maybe on that a little bit for folks that might be tuning in?
So I do have a recommendation that I would have. So a lot of these positions, as you mentioned, Daniel, do have specific requirements. What I would do as an applicant is, so my resume that I would be submitting for that specific position, because again, you do have to apply every time there's a job you're interested in, you would have to submit a new application. But the perk to this is that your information would be saved, but you do have the option of always changing it. So, if you need to do some editing, or you have new information to add, you do have that option to do some editing. And what I would recommend is to review the job posting. They always list their preferred qualifications, their minimum requirements, and what the job entails. So I would thoroughly go through the job description, and if there's anything there that you can take and utilize in collaboration with your own resume, maybe it could be something minimal as changing the verbiage that you're using. All of that will help. or maybe you can emphasize an experience that you already have. For example, like if you were a secretary and we're looking for someone with those type of skills, I would really emphasize that information and just elaborate. So kind of gear the verbiage towards what they're looking for. Don't lie, but because we do some verification, but it will make you look better if you kind of modify your verbiage a little bit and draft it to that information.
So thank you for that, Israel. And again, I'm just going to pause here and give folks another opportunity. If you do have any questions for the folks, please feel free to enter them into the chat or unmute yourself, and we'll be sure to get your questions answered. Another question that's coming into mind from previous webinars that I've held, Israel or Jody, maybe you can speak to, once folks secure employment with the state, what are the opportunities for advancement, kind of under that statewide employment umbrella, if you will? Can folks move from agency to agency? Is that process pretty easy? Just give folks a little bit of insight as to what those opportunities for advancement or mobility are.
So we do have a program called, it's the Upward Mobility Program. Now, it doesn't entail every single position, but it does have a wide variety. So it's going to vary and depend on once you onboard, what specific position and job you currently have. Because if you come into a professional or management role, directly into a professional or management role, your options will kind of narrow. And depending on your county preference, if you're willing to do some traveling or work in Springfield or Chicago, now your market becomes a lot wider, and you will have a lot more opportunity. But if you're, for example, in Champaign, only me, Jody, and one other individual who's the property manager here in East Central Illinois, we're the only 3 employees for CMS in Champaign. So as far as promoting within CMS for us, it is a little bit more challenging unless we are willing to work elsewhere. Now, as far as working for different agencies, that is always an option. And once you onboard with the state of Illinois, there is a different electronic application process for us, which it entails the same thing, but only that when the individuals review your resume, they are aware that you are an internal candidate. Now, whether that makes a huge difference or not, it used to. Now, that's kind of up in the air. I think, they're just looking for the best matched candidate to that specific position. And there are many job opportunities. So if I'm not mistaken, there's over 700 that we were trying to fill. So yeah, there's always room for growth and a lot of opportunity for advancement with working with the state of Illinois.
Some information, Israel. Thank you so much for that. And again, I think we are kind of butting up to the end of our session here. So I just do want to give folks kind of one final opportunity. If you do have questions for the CMS team, feel free to enter those into the chat now or unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, in the meantime, I think what we'll go ahead and do while maybe you're formulating those last questions that you might have, we'll turn things back over to the CMS team to give kind of a concluding remarks, summary statement, takeaway, something similar to that for folks that might be tuning in now or who will be tuning into the recording at a later date. Israel or Jody, are there any things that you'd like folks to kind of take away from the session here today?
So I would like to add that our career counseling services that we have, I would take advantage of those. There are, um, if an individual is having trouble finding a job, within our website, we're trained to helping individuals find opportunities. Now, it does become a little challenging depending on your county choice. But again, if you can include one, two, even three preferred counties, that would help us kind of find the right position that you may qualify for, and we provide those. So basically, once you send an email requesting a career counseling to our email address provided, you will be assigned a counselor, a career counselor, and basically they help you navigate, and all the information that they provide is very helpful until you onboard, and even then you can still use us as a resource. So I would definitely take that away. If you're in doubt or if you have any questions, just send us an email and we'll be very responsive.
So thank you so much for that, Israel. And again, if folks have any last minute questions, feel free to ask now. Otherwise, I will go ahead and kind of give our closing remarks as far as Illinois WorkNet is concerned. So of course, the session has been recorded here today, so we will be uploading it within 48 hours to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel under the Virtual Job Fairs playlist. Again, all you have to do, go onto YouTube, type in Illinois WorkNet, you'll find our channel. You'll see off to the left-hand side a list of all the playlists that we manage and operate. Click Virtual Job Fairs, and you should see this one at or near the top. That's kind of point number one. Point number two, if you did register for this session today as a job seeker, I do have that registration report, and I will be exporting that and sending that over to both Jody and Israel, again, within 48 hours post-event. So they will have your contact information, basic demographic information, so on and so forth, to be able to follow up with you, to have that information to use internally, so on and so forth. So those two things will be provided to those individuals again after the close of this event. With that, of course, I'd like to thank the folks over at CMS, both Jody and Israel, for joining us today. Of course, I'd like to give a big thanks and shout out to the job seekers who tuned in today. Thank you all for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.